After the last week winning my class, we hop into round 7 of the championship. Could I grab the win back to back in bronze class? Let's find out. After the last braking zone, there was some distance to the kart in front. I saw I would catch him if I stayed flat out through this section, so I lifted 2 or 3 times. Anyway, my kart was much faster on the straight and I decided to overtake him in the first corner and abort the lap preparing for the second lap. I finished the second lap with a time of 1:04.079, which puts me P11 out of 58 drivers. Obviously, I didn't improve on the third lap and will get straight into the semifinal. P11 in the qualifying gets me starting P3 in Heat C. After the start, I lose one position to number 17 and get down to P4. At the long right-hander, I had a lot of understeer and that allowed number 28 behind to pull alongside on my right. At that moment, I remembered my kart hadn't been used in the previous session, so my tires were still cold and I hadn't really warmed them up on the outlap, which wasn't the ideal scenario knowing number 28 behind is a very fast driver. Anyway, until lap 4 I managed to keep him behind and even caught number 17. Number 17 overslows into the hairpin and I have to dive deeper into the corner to avoid hitting him. That opens the door for number 28 and he takes my position. That was a very well read situation from him. My ability to react to other drivers' mistakes is horrendous and it is definitely an area I need to improve. I didn't want to fight number 28 since he's much faster and I also didn't want to wait for him to fight number 17, so I decided to pit on that lap. I went to the pits really fast and managed to not touch a single cone, rejoining behind some drivers who hadn't pitted yet. Making my way through the field, I get up to P5 right behind number 17 again. The only difference is that he hasn't pitted yet. This is a huge pace difference and I'm glad I decided to pit on that lap. He pits on the last lap and we move up to P4 behind number 28. There was no way of catching him, but apparently he touched 2 cones in the pit lane and received a 6-second time penalty, which promotes me to P3. This ends up being my best race result so far. Hopping straight into the final, I start P12 in Heat A, where the fastest drivers are today. Unfortunately, I lose 2 positions into turn 1 and drop back to P14. There was an incident in front and that caused a huge pileup of cars. I chose to stick behind number 23 on the inside, but he was the slowest of them all and I couldn't gain any positions. I could see I was much faster than the guys in front and I didn't want to be held up, so I decided to pit. As you can see, we raised our hands at the same time, indicating we were going into the pits, and this was the moment I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to stay out after raising my hand and risk a penalty, so I decided to pit behind him and look for a way to overtake him on track. I managed to overtake him, but I lost a lot of time behind him. The guys in front were already so far away. We jumped to the last lap as the gap behind had grown and the leaders were already out of reach. There was some fighting ahead and I caught number 26. I could see I was faster and I was looking for a way to overtake him. Heading into the last braking zone of the race, I decided to go for another switchback. Unfortunately, I couldn't execute it as well as I wanted and he had enough time to cover the inside before I got in there. I finished P11 after the penalties, but I had the pace to finish much higher. I end up P4 in the bronze class and miss out on a podium finish. If we exclude the first lap of the final, I think it was a very positive result. Even though I finished P4 in bronze class and I couldn't get on the podium, I'm really happy with my performance. There isn't a race until September, so it's gonna be a time for some practice and just come back faster next time, next race. Probably from the next race I'm going to be silver class, let's see, and it's going to be much more difficult to get a trophy, to get on the podium, but we'll keep fighting. Apex is lava. Ciao.